and we've had a lot of lawsuits that we've been following too.
There has
You
been a
know, from
lot
Schedule
going on.
1. Yeah, from Schedule 1, and now we're going back again to Palworld and PocketPair and Pokemon. So Morgan actually has an update on that whole shenanigan lawsuit that's been going on.
There seems to be a new development that stems from the Palworld versus Pokemon lawsuit. So, firstly, just to give everybody a quick recap, Palworld launched on Steam, priced at $30 and went straight into Game Pass on Xbox and PC in early 2024. So, it broke sales and concurrent player number records during its release. So, after Palworld's massive launch, comparisons were made between Palworld's pals and Pokemon. Some people even accusing PocketPair, which is the developer of Palworld, for ripping off Nintendo's Pokemon designs. However, rather than filing a copyright infringement lawsuit, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company basically went down the patent route. They want 5 million yen, which is approximately 32,846 US dollars, each, by the way, for each patent, plus late payment damages, as well as an injunction against Palworld that would block its release. Now, in November, PocketPair confirmed they were being sued for 3 Japan-based patents. Half a year later, PocketPair has now provided an update admitting recent changes made to the game were indeed the result of legal threats. Now, it has been confirmed that the patch V0.3.11, which released in November of 2024, was the result of the ongoing litigation and removed the ability to summon pals by throwing pal spheres, and instead changed it to a static summon next to the player, along with many other changes. Now, this is because, just a quick little side note, this is because one of the patents Nintendo is going after for them is the fact of using like these pal spheres because they're so much like a Pokemon. Or sorry, a Pokeball. So now the changes do not stop there. Another patch was just forced upon the game as a result of the ongoing patent lawsuit with Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. So the most recent patch, which is V0.5.5, made even more changes to Palworld, so that gliding will be performed using a glider rather than with your pals. So you can't ride on your pals anymore and fly around the world. Pals in the player's team will still provide passive buffs to your gliding, but players will now need to have a glider in their inventory in order to like glide and move around the map. So this is a bummer because I love being able to just get on my pal and fly around. I'm worried about this gliding mechanic. How, like, do I need to make sure I'm gliding from really high areas? Like, how will this impact the expiration? But PocketPair said they were forced to make these compromises out of fear of an injunction being granted that could block the development of Palworld. Despite making these changes, PocketPair said it will continue to dispute these claims made in the lawsuit, focusing on asserting validity of these patents. But here is PocketPair's full statement. We would like to express our sincere gratitude and appreciation for the continued support of our fans over the past few months. We apologize for not being able to share as much information as we would like, but we trust our fans understand how difficult it is to be fully transparent while litigation is going on. Currently, we remain involved in prolonged legal proceedings regarding alleged patent infringement. We can continue to dispute these claims and assert the individuality if these patents are in question. However, we have had to make certain compromises in order to avoid disruptions to the development and distribution of Palworld. So, what are your thoughts on this matter? Are you Team Palworld or Team Pokemon? Let us know in the comments. We would love to know your thoughts. Crazy that flying on a monster in-game can be copyrighted. I 100% agree with that. And I feel like the reason we see this most recently in, what was it? Pokemon Scarlet and Violet,
Mhm.
I believe. And sadly, those came out before this game. And I feel like the only reason they're able to really go after them as a patent for flying these pals is because of the other patents and similarities they already have to the Pokemon franchise and to their games.
Mhm.
So I feel like that was just kind of tacked on as like we're already going after them for these like similarities to our game. Let's go ahead and add one more.
I think it's I think it's apples and oranges at this point. We're just nitpicking things now just because you're big bad Nintendo and you didn't think of this to begin with, and so that's the reason we're getting upset because somebody did think of this the way that we wanted it to be, and now it's like, okay, I guess I need to put my foot down to, basically say that I am the big bad bully and this is my game and the way that I do this. It's no different than the Schedule 1 drug dealer simulator thing, like it's so the publisher was mad because of the fact that an indie developer took the concept and made it better. Like, isn't that the whole purpose of what being an artist is? Like, these are games that are done in the sense of they're artists. I don't
Absolutely.
care who you are. Like, I get it that you guys are computer programmers, you do coding and all that stuff, but to be fair, to be a coder, you still have to think artistically to make shit happen. So it's all art in a sense. And that's like telling me that I draw an apple, you draw an apple, but yet my apple apparently now is going to be sued because it looks similar to your apple, even though it's an apple.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. If we're going to be upset about something, get upset that they ripped off names. Get upset that they are using, art in a sense where it looks too similar. But we're not even seeing that. Like,
Sure.
it's
Sure.
not like they sat there and made a Pikachu and then called it Pikachu, or made a character that looks like Pikachu and called it Pikachu. We're not doing that. We're not using names that are similar. There's no characters in there named Ash. There's no characters in there named Misty. Like, there's no characters in there named, Team Rocket. We don't have any of that stuff. Do we have similarities in the sense of you go to a gym, you defeat somebody? Yes, but there's no puzzle thing before it
Yeah.
to get to the gym. So, like, I don't know. I feel like we're getting upset over stupid stuff when you could sit there and look at all these other games that have similarities to them and nobody's getting mad. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how many times have we seen games that are similar to Stardew Valley? Whether they're 2D, 3D, 8-bit, whatever. There's a ton of them out there. How many games have we seen that are similar to Diablo? There's a ton of them out there. But, like, at this point, what's the point?
Yeah, it's like
Like,
final
what?
for example right now is like I feel like it should fall under parody laws. Just like the Warner Bros. Nemesis system got copyrighted by Warner Bros. And then they shut down the company that made Shadows of War. Like that in part is due to budget cuttings and restructuring of the company, but that was an amazing company. That was they made
Yeah.
amazing games, and it's like I do agree with you. Like I am in this specific story, I am on personally PocketPair side. I'm on the side of Palworld. Because as
Yeah.
Element says, Nintendo does have a serious overreach problem that the Japanese courts seem more than willing to cooperate with keeping them in a position of power. They need to be taken down a peg. And I agree. I sadly don't see that that's going to happen, Element. I do agree, like, with Final, though. Like, I am also on the side of gamers, but at the same time, I really think that Palworld is just getting the worst possible hand they can with this. I think, was there inspiration for their game from Pokemon? Probably. I think that's pretty damn evident. But I think that's also a good thing. Like,
Mhm.
that could be good marketing for Pokemon in a way. Like, oh, they really like this game. They're just upset that PocketPair, in my opinion, finally made a game that us, the Pokemon fans, have been begging for. Because Nintendo doesn't want to get out of their old ways of their games and break away from like what we've seen and what we're used to give us more. Palworld is on the side of the gamers too. Like they know that this is impacting us, and they're making these changes because they need to. Otherwise, it's going to further hurt the development and them taking care of their game for us, the players. it's very disappointing to see like that a company with such a beloved franchise is such sharks, if you will.
Pocket Pair didn't go in, break open Nintendo's Pokemon game, and
Yeah,
steal and make a copy of the code. They can't do that. That's not going to happen, right?
absolutely.
Unless like you're a hacker. Then it could happen. When I say that, then that could happen. But majority of the time, that's probably not going to happen. Aspects of video games from other ones that we have seen, it's okay to
Absolutely.
take and use as inspiration to improve something. And that's what I don't
Inspiration's a
understand.
good thing. Like I don't understand why there's this weird like need now in the industries to do this like between companies, this gatekeeping. Like you are all game developers and your goals not is not like it's sad to see like the veil has been lifted.
Mhm.
These majority of these companies are not here to make games to evolve the gaming industry for the gamers because they were once the gamers like us. They are here to make money. And that is what we're seeing. We are seeing
Mhm.
it is so transparent now which studios are here for the gamers to like this is their passion. They grew up with this and they just want to make the next best game for other gamers like themselves to enjoy versus
Mhm.
oh, the studios are like gaming's very lucrative. Let's go make our money. And
Right.
these, in my opinion, these lawsuits are really kind of really telling of who's who.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think there are some things that Nintendo does hold to their heart that I think they should. Like, for instance, Mario. Mario is Nintendo. Like, when you think of Nintendo, what do you think of? You think of Mario, right? So, like, I get that kind of thing and wanting to keep that one close, near, and dear to your heart. But, like, if we're just taking and even Final said a while ago, it's like taking and telling somebody that a brushstroke technique is copyrighted and you can't use it for a
Yeah.
painter. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, but yes, we have seen people use Mario in other ways too. And God forbid if any of this stuff goes into public domain.
I literally
I'm just
was
saying.
literally just
I'm
thinking
just
that
saying.
that like Nintendo's gonna lose their shit when stuff goes to the public domain.
They're going to try to control it all and it's not going to
But the
happen.
content that will be made once it does,
Oh, yeah.
it'll be
Yeah.
amazing.
It's going to be off the wall. We're
It's
going
gonna
to
be
be like, where
fantastic.
did this come from?
Well,
All right, let's move on. Let's move on
yeah, we
before we get
we
too much in a tangent.